Welcome back to TYT Sports, everybody. We're doing Turks and Jerks. Ben Menk is sick. He said he is dubious if he would make it in. Okay, my Turk of the week.
Cheers to
Ricky
that.
Strom.
Please.
Should we start with Turks or Jerks? Turks?
Turks.
Turks is,
save the worst for last.
Turks is good. It's the Denver Broncos defense. And for reason, first of all, it could also be, by the way, Trevor Siemian for being underrated as a quarterback and being able to get the job done. That's it. I'm not trying to overrate Trevor Siemian.
You're saying he's Alex Smith?
Well, that's
able to
tough.
get the job done is like the most minimalistic way of saying you're okay.
You're an okay quarterback. You deserve your starting job. There's nobody on the team.
In comparison to everybody else on that team, absolutely.
Absolutely. A comparison to about 23 other quarterbacks in the NFL? No, that's too many.
No,
15,
it's way too
15,
many.
15 other quarterbacks.
Let's save that conversation for another clip because I think it's fair to rank where he is.
You definitely deserve your job, but it's the Denver defense. Teams can win Super Bowls through their defense. Obviously, a shell of Peyton Manning was able to win with the, what are they, the no-fly zone? Is that the Denver's defense nickname?
I don't know, but whenever I hear no-fly zone, I think of Curb Your Enthusiasm. when Cheryl meets the no-fly zone guy when the plane is about to go down.
Very fair point.
The Comcast guy is here. No, Cheryl, Cheryl. What a dick move by Larry. Man.
But on the note of the Denver defense, first of all, the rush defense held Ezekiel Elliott to 8 yards. There's also awesome. wonderfully laughable take from Peter King over at Monday Morning Quarterback, who is the paid mouthpiece for the National Football League. I'm very certain that there is some under the table dealings.
Seriously, he's such a puppet for the NFL. I don't know how much further the stick can go up his ass. He is horrible.
I like that
seriously.
Dead spin.
And he'll never rip a play, or excuse me, he'll never rip an owner. He'll never rip the front office. It's always about shitting on the players to make the owners look better.
Well, that's what he did in the case of Jerry. Well, no, actually, he thinks that Jason Garrett should be disciplining Ezekiel Elliott for giving up. There was an interception. Ezekiel Elliott just didn't care about the play. And the massive overreaction is, wow, what a quitter. It's like, okay, because in most instances, the players will what's the word I'm looking for? But will lazily jog towards the interception returner who's already flying downfield, trying to score, getting better field position after the interception. And Zeke just gave up. He was already 10 yards away from him. I'm defending Ezekiel Elliott in this case, but Peter King rips into him saying there should be discipline for this. And I go, this is hilarious because Peter King won't bring up so many other facets of Ezekiel Elliott's life.
Here's the headline. Cowboys need to discipline Ezekiel Elliott for lack of effort in loss to Broncos. What discipline exactly are you discussing right now?
To keep it in the Turk, what discipline are you discussing? Maybe do a couple extra laps around the practice field because you
call him out in film and that's it?
That's it. That's what you're supposed to do. You know,
idiot.
Shred him for giving up on a play. It won't happen again. In the case of the Denver defense, though,
yes,
the Denver defense made the Cowboys offense look so weak. It even makes the Giants look even worse from week 1.
Yeah,
the fact that
a good point.
They were able to shut down pretty much everybody outside the numbers. Nobody was getting open. No one was able to even. It was frustrating for Dak Prescott. And I actually like what Coward said this morning. Colin Coward made a point saying it wasn't that Dak Prescott looked bad. He was just overwhelmed. And anytime you get that much of a pass rush, anytime you have it constantly over and over and over, it leads to frustration. But more importantly, when you see that much of a blitz and they are getting you, and Von Miller is terrorizing you on the inside, outside, just threatening. There was a point where Von Miller would threaten a blitz and it would scare the living crap out of Dak Prescott because that's what being one of the best defenders in the best linebackers in the NFL, if not arguably the best defensive player in the NFL at times.
Right.
Depending on what happens. So it's not like the Cowboys have a bad offense. The Denver defense just made them look lost.
The way that the media treated the Cowboys offense this past offseason, we thought that they were the Cowboys that had Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin.
I think that's all that we heard. I think that's their ceiling. Like of just being, because Ezekiel Elliott rushing for 8 total yards, Brady had 9 total yards rushing yesterday. To put that in perspective, like that's a guy who you never would thought really would have a game under 60. And that would be his really bad game. Man, we're talking 15 carries for 8 yards.
Going further with the Broncos, Sergio Dip tweeted yesterday, I told you, Vance Joseph.
We have it.
The time of his life.
I actually think this is the D element. I lied to Jacory before, so I apologize. We have one element, and it's Sergio Dip.
Yes, thank you.
I tried to tell you all.
Thank you. The time of his life, Vance Joseph.
So is Dip Monday night or Sunday night football?
Killing it on Twitter, dude.
So it'll be Monday night football, so it'll be tonight, possibly.
I don't know if he's going to be on Monday Night Football again.
It has to be.
No, I'm serious. Like,
I give it to him.
I'd love to see him once again. Just make it like, it might run its course, but like make it a parody for a few weeks.
Right.
Make me laugh.
Right.
My Turk of the week, even in a loss, is Aaron Rodgers. And this is coming from a Bears fan. I have witnessed the brilliance of Brett Favre. I have witnessed, Ben has given me this insight very quickly. I'm gonna tell you why it's Aaron Rodgers in a second. But then there's something about Mary, if we could take the 2-shot. So what happens is, Mary's right here, and Brett just walks in, right? In the last scene, he goes, Mary, Mary. He can't even say her name right. He's like, Mary, you know I always loved you. It's like, Brett, you have 2 lines. I'll play quarterback, dumbass. All right, so nonetheless, worst acting by an athlete maybe ever. Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna send this tweet to all you guys. This is via Rob Demovsky, great writer. Says Aaron Rodgers has joined the 300 touchdown club. He did it in 4,742 pass attempts, 564 fewer than Peyton Manning, who had previously been the fastest to 300. Now, is this somewhat microcosmic of where we are in the NFL? That every team is passing and less teams are running? Sure. But it also shows me something that Aaron Rodgers, starting late, by the way, because he had to be the successor to Brett Favre, because the Packers, even though Favre probably feels like they shitted on him when he was on his way out, they allowed him to seal his legacy in Green Bay, and of course he went on to the Jets and he went on to the Vikings, yada yada.
He did really well with the Jets and the Vikings.
He did, but more so better with the Vikings than the Jets.
Of course.
But nonetheless, Aaron Rodgers had to wait his turn. He did. And he still showed why he should have been a higher selection in his respective draft. So to beat out Peyton Manning, who we view as arguably the greatest regular season quarterback ever, not the greatest quarterback ever, the greatest regular season quarterback ever, and Aaron Rodgers is already passing him when he had a late start. I applaud Aaron Rodgers, I salute Aaron Rodgers. He had to wait his turn. He was humbled the entire time. He shows no personality in media interviews, but nonetheless, congratulations to Aaron Rodgers. This is really, really cool to see for a guy who had to wait his turn and then took advantage of the platform that he was on.
100 touchdown passes
Team he was on, right?
Aaron Rodgers is arguably the greatest quarterback in the history of football. And the reason that people say that, and they have an argument in this case, now I'm someone who thinks Tom Brady's numbers, rings speak for themselves. But I take Aaron Rodgers.
They go hand in hand.
I take Aaron Rodgers out of Peyton Manning every single day of the week. And the reason for that, Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, you said you take Peyton Manning over?
I would take Aaron Rodgers over Peyton Manning any day of the week.
In the regular season?
Even in the regular season, just in general, overall, the overall stance of taking Aaron Rodgers. And the reason for that is, for one, rarely, and do I mean rarely, is there a time in Aaron Rodgers' career where it's been his fault that they lost a football game, whereas he put them ahead or put them in a tying situation. Team gets the ball back and the defense gives it up. The thing that frustrates me about the Packers over the last 2-3 years is, for one, I don't like how Mike McCarthy gets so much credit for being a quote unquote great head coach.
I agree with that.
I think he's extremely overrated. Also,
I don't know about extremely, I think he's overrated.
The most laughable thing in the world is that Dom Capers is still the defensive coordinator for that team for 9 years. And something that is very important to bring up is Dom Capers, and I brought this up 1,000 times, and it's not the political side of Colin Kaepernick, it is the NFL side of Colin Kaepernick. 2 straight years. For 2 straight years, Dom Capers allowed Colin Kaepernick to run on the Packers defense for over 150 yards. It was fireable the first time, it's fireable the second time, it's fireable 9 years later against a Falcons team who just switched to a drunk offensive coordinator. Sorry, Steve Sarkisian. He has a drinking problem. He has a drinking problem. But in the case of Aaron Rodgers,
that's actually not fun. I take it back. That was kind of low.
It's a little low, but it's true.
That was like
the truth hurts.
It was like Andre Ward hitting Andre Kovalev low.
Yeah, well, it's truth.
And it resulted in a decision.
The truth hurts. But Sark has done actually, in terms of his play calling, doesn't seem like there's too much of a
Falcons look good.
Explosive difference compared to Kyle Shanahan from the year before. So yeah, in the case of the Packers overall, I think if you took the entire Colts roster, gave them all maybe a +3 in ratings, Madden, and you put, I'll make this easier for an easier example. Put Aaron Rodgers on the Colts, and they are exactly the same as the Packers, almost. Also switch Mike McCarthy and Chuck Pagano because it's a massive upgrade from Chuck Pagano. But the point being is,
can you name the Colts receivers?
T.Y. Hilton is as good as any Packers receiver, not Jordy Nelson.
Okay, so T.Y. Hilton is the Jordy Nelson of that team.
T.Y. Hilton's the Jordy Nelson of that team for the reason that if you gave T.Y. Hilton and Aaron Rodgers in 10 years or 8 years of playing together, they would have the exact same relationship that Jordy Nelson and I think Aaron Rodgers have in terms of being the most trustworthy receiver on the Indianapolis Colts.
T.Y. Hilton, Dante Moncrief, Kamar Aiken. I forgot they got him.
Yeah, Rodgers would turn these guys into
Rodgers.
Rodgers would turn these guys into Randall Cobb, Devonta Adams,
and Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle, I don't know too much about, but
tight end. Okay. Nonetheless, I understand your point. Who's your jerk of the week?
Everything about the last 30 seconds of the Chargers and the Dolphins game. First of all, we don't want an NFL team here if that's not abundantly clear by now. The USC versus Texas game, for perspective, had more people in attendance, 76,000, than both the Rams and the Chargers home games here in LA combined.
Do you consider Carson, California like LA?
It's no.
I consider it like where I'm from in Chicago.
The
like
Giants,
it's outside
New York Giants, your Jets play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. They're still the New York Giants, and they're still New York football team.
You're putting history aside.
The San Francisco 49ers play like 80 miles outside of San Francisco now. Like all these teams, I'm not going to take away.
They're playing in a soccer stadium.
Yeah, they are. They're playing in us, but it's only makeshift for a year.
I know. I'm just saying, like it's just so new. Like
I think a new stadium will bring out more fans. I think after enough time. But this idea that like, oh, the Rams are coming back. The Rams are coming. There's no one there to watch them. So
all right, I'm sorry for taking you off course. So why?
Oh God. Okay. So Jay Cutler in a very impressive. I'm going to say impressive showing.
Real quick. Doppelganger? No, go back.
People
Doppelganger.
think I look a lot like
Jay Cutler. Abso-fucking-lutely not. There's no chance in hell. No way.
I'm telling you, man. You're gonna wait till you see the comments. And also hat hair. Oh, but you know what? I'll take it off for the case of being hat hair.
Never seen you have a bad hair day.
Me? That's just natural.
Not trying to help you on a Monday. I'm just saying.
Thanks,
okay,
brother.
so
Thanks,
why?
Brother. Where did we leave off?
Jay Cutler.
Okay. Jay Cutler drives the Dolphins down the field, gets them in field goal range. They go up ahead, 19-17. Dolphins have the lead. But they leave about 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock. Phillip Rivers, God, all my quarterbacks are being confused. Phillip Rivers, who has maybe been one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He is a Hall of Famer. And in the case of the Chargers, they always will make it close, but they're usually not on the winning end of making it close. Like last year, they had 21 points in the fourth quarter, and they blew that lead. They were ahead, I think, 3 straight fourth quarters, and they blew all of those leads.
Sounds about right.
But this time, they're trying to come from behind. So Phillip Rivers finds his tight end, and I'm blanking on the name. He eventually finds not Antonio Gates.
Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry, thank you. Hunter Henry for like a 25-yard pass out of bounds on the sideline. They start moving the chains. Finally gets Keenan Allen to put him inside like the 33. They're in field goal range, right?
Yep.
They've now used all of their timeouts. They have 19 seconds left on the clock, roughly.
Yep.
It's 2nd and 2. Rivers just wants to hike the ball and center it for the kicker. Cool. Centers it for the kicker. There is now 17 seconds left on the clock.
It's winding down.
The Chargers have no timeouts. The clock is winding down. They can spike it.
They can because it's
3rd and 2 to make it 4th and 2 and stop the clock. They could hold that ball till 4 seconds left and spike it to get the game-winning kick off and try to win without letting the Chargers get the ball back, even if it's.
But again, it's madness on the field.
Of course,
trying to get the
but this is what separates great coaching from very bad coaching. Because, for example, quick interlude here: the Patriots, to end the first half against the New Orleans Saints, marched down the field in 58 seconds. They get their last playoff with no timeouts and no ability to spike it, being 4th down with 12 seconds. They get their field goal unit on the field, snap it with 2 seconds, and put it through. Like, that's just expertise in special teams. And everybody should have that down like a science. There should be no situation that you're not accustomed to, especially one where you have the ability to stop the clock.
Right.
Now, one of the speculative things is that there very well could have been 12 men on the field. because they were switching on and off. This has been brought up by 3 different points. One person on Reddit and then one from the Big Lead and also one from Deadspin, saying that if this is the case and they spike that ball with even a shoelace in, it's a 10-second runoff because the penalty's on them and they get no kickoff, game over.
However,
which we have seen, by the way, happen in football before. However, the Dolphins called timeout. The Miami Dolphins, with all the opportunity in the world for a penalty and anything like that to run off the clock, all the opportunity in the world for them not to get the kickoff, all the opportunity in the world for only a second left, they call a timeout with 10 seconds left, and the only thought you can think in your thoughtful, thinkful head.
Why?
Well, they want the ball back, I guess. If they kick it through, they want a shot at kicking it through, which is nuts. So instead, they bring in Koo, who's not so cool no more, according to Joel Embiid, who got iced last week, and then the kick blocked by the Denver Broncos, comes in, misses the kick.
Of course he misses the kick. But he should have made it.
Of course he should have.
Like, that should have been football karma.
Both. The Chargers coaching staff, the Dolphins coaching staff.
Mike McCoy being an idiot.
Phillip Rivers.
Adam Gase not understanding timeout.
Adam Gase.
Who we thought would understand timeout.
The fans. Oh, the towel guy, jerks, all of them. Because we don't know. I think the towel guy called timeout.
Remember in Waterboy when Dan Patrick goes, in Michigan, put in the towel boy at wide receiver.
It's got Dan Patrick's in the Waterboy.
Dan Patrick's in every single Adam Sandler movie. He finds a way. Okay, real quick.
All them teeth and no teeth.
Ben Mankiewicz has called this out many times. Head coaches do not understand the concept of clock management and timeouts. And Ben has a solution. Hire a timeout-only coach.
Oh, that's right. He has mentioned this. And also, but
timeout only.
Someone to get paid also just to watch the clock. That's it.
That's fine too. That's fine too. The fact that the Dolphins nearly choked away this game, I kind of wish both teams got an L.
That's what they should have got a tie.
Yeah, they should have got a tie.
A
for just being stupid.
tie.
For just being stupid. So I agree with that. My personal jerk of the week goes out to John Fox, Mike Glennon, and the Chicago Bears for their incompetence to continue to put out Mike Glennon. I know it's only been 2 games. He had 4 turnovers. Now, one of those was, maybe it wasn't on it. It was a sack fumble. Tariq Cohen fumbled a punt. Yeah, if you want to mention Tariq being bad and taking a weird moving punt, fine. Mike Glennon cannot play quarterback anymore. You want to give us some hope? You want to give Bears fans hope? You know what you do? You put out a project and say, well, you have something to watch and you have something to look forward to every Sunday, aside from what seems like a Bears game is going to the DMV and hating everything about your life because it's a long, drawn-out process where you know the outcome. You're gonna sit there for 3 hours, you're gonna wait your turn. It's also known as Satan's asshole to many people. And then you finally are like, yeah, I could have just done this online, which is, in Bears form, skipping the game. So, nonetheless.
At least they don't put you in prime time like they had the Giants last 2
But
weeks.
there's going to be a primetime game. Every team has a primetime game.
Thursday night,
and then it's going to be exemplified on why this team sucks. Mike Glennon's stat line was 31 of 45 for over 300 yards. You would think that it's good. But the thing is, when you take those 31 out of 45, you know what doesn't come with the caveat in the box score? The fact that the Buccaneers were kicking the shit out of the Bears, and the only reason that he had over 300 yards and a lot of completions was because they gave up underneath routes late in games, even in the 3rd quarter when this game was out of reach. It is time to give Bears fans some hope. It is time for many of these passionate fans from Chicago to be like, well, I don't agree with the pick, but at least we could see what he has. John Fox continues to go out there every single Sunday, show his ass, and continue to give excuse after excuse after excuse, bullshit answer after bullshit answer after bullshit answer after bullshit answer of why it is not Mike Glennon's fault. And granted, the defense was bad, but you know what else would help out the defense? Not turning the ball over 4 times and abandoning them on the football field. This is what a lot of head coaches do. The problem is we're just fed up with it after a while. Lovie Smith ran his course. John Fox is running his course. We have seen many coaches in the past, Dick Duran being one, where you just sort of see the writing on the wall. This is the 3rd straight year that John Fox has started 0-2. It is also, with his complete body of work, the Broncos didn't win with him as head coach, but they won when he left as head coach. The Carolina Panthers didn't win with him as head coach. They won right after he left as head coach. He now has 9 wins, I believe 26 losses. Let me see if I got 25. Oh, well, it's inevitable. Maybe think about next week. So 9 and 25 in 3 years. What exactly does he have to prove anymore? And I understand that the front office let him down because this is a rebuilding year. You know what you want to see? Optimism. You want to see something that puts you in the right sort of mindset as a fan that's like, hey, you know what? I see talent in this player, that player, this player, that player, and the coaching staff. And you know what? Coaching staffs can also overcome bad talent. This coaching staff doesn't have it. It continues to let me down, and that is why I feel like right now, I don't even know if I want to watch any more Bears, because it's just the depressing thing. It's like watching the Titanic knowing what the outcome is going to be. That's every single Sunday for Chicago, and it's a shame that we have to continue to put up with this every single week.
Here's the reason you don't put in Trubisky. And I agree with you for the point of optimism.
Tell me why you don't put in Trubisky.
Maybe
because I automatically disagree.
When John Fox goes away, right, hopefully mid-season in this case, maybe at the end of this year.
They'll probably let him finish the year because he's a veteran head coach.
One of the things that I think is detrimental to a quarterback's growth and development is not only when you get rid of the head coach, but usually a lot of coaches go with them. If you have to clear house, if you have to find new management in general, and changing up quarterback coaches, changing up the offensive game plan, putting in Trubisky right now under Fox's plan, under, who's your offensive coordinator?
Dowell Loggins.
Dowell Loggins, I can't imagine he's staying. Dowell Loggins' plan.
He was hired as the Cutler guy.
Right, so you have to learn Cutler's offense, right? You have to learn John Fox's decision, play calling, all of that. And look, by all
I'm just telling you, I completely disagree. You need to give us some sort of.
I'm gonna finish my point. My point being is you have absolutely nothing to gain besides fandom from putting in Trubisky now.
No.
It's not like the Bears will start winning with Trubisky next week. You have Pittsburgh coming in, and even Ben Roethlisberger on the road is still going to ignite that team's
Yeah, it doesn't
defense.
matter. They're going to be 0-3.
They're going to be 0-3. So maybe I get the idea Mike Glennon is awful.
Yeah, he
by
is.
all means.
He is. He's a backup quarterback in the NFL.
I think it would be even better, and this is such a rash decision, fire John Fox today and rehire and then put in Mitch Trubisky under a clean head coach.
The fact is, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It does. You're right. It doesn't matter.
He's a newborn in the league. So no matter what, the inevitable is going the inevitable is going to happen that they're going to have John Fox and then there's going to be some other head coach. It doesn't fucking matter. All that matters is that Mitch Trubisky finally gets. Is that Trubisky knocking on the door of the studio? It doesn't matter because Trubisky needs to be thrown into the fire. And I'm fine with that. I've seen now Deshaun Watson, we saw it with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning sucked his first year, but you know what? He learned from it. That's what you do with failure. You learn from it. You established that previously as well. So even if he goes out and throws 3 interceptions every single game,
Jared Goff's a good example of that. Jared Goff is a good example of that. They had to put in Jared Goff at some point. They finally did. He looked terrible.
This is really his first year, by the way.
Right, I agree with that. He looked like, Jared Goff last year looked like, oh my God, the Rams tremendously effed up by trading the farm for this guy. This is the guy you're doing. And the Bears could look like that too. Right. So you're also not wrong. I just don't know. I'm not entirely sold on putting in Trubisky just yet, unless Glennon once again shows up with 4 interceptions next week. Because like, what if Mike Glennon throws for 300 yards and no interceptions? How injured is Jordan Howard, by the way?
That is your playmaker. Talk to media for a second week in a row.
That is your playmaker.
It's kind of a red flag. No, our playmaker is Mike Glennon. Come on.
I mean, you got to give it to put it in the hands of Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon probably ran for more yards than Ezekiel Elliott did last week.
Wouldn't surprise me. All righty, so those are our Turks and Jerks. Let us know who yours are in the comment section below.